A political firestorm is tearing through Dalton, Illinois, and right in the middle of it all stands Tiffany Henyard. Once hailed as a rising star, she proudly crowned herself the super mayor, promising reform, transparency, and a brighter future for her community. For a moment, she had people believing. She spoke with the energy of change, the charisma of a born leader, and the confidence of someone who claimed to be unstoppable. Residents thought they finally had a mayor who saw them, who heard them, who was ready to fight for them. But that image has crumbled into something far darker. The story that once looked like a fresh start now feels more like a cautionary tale. Instead of reform, there are whispers of corruption. Instead of transparency, there are locked doors and missing documents. What started as hope has dissolved into scandal after scandal, leaving Henyard at the center of multiple federal investigations. That superhero cape she loved to flaunt now looks like nothing more than a costume, a distraction from chaos and misconduct that grows more obvious by the day. This week, the storm escalated even further. The Illinois State Comptroller made a stunning announcement. All state payments to Dolton are frozen. Why? Because the village failed to file mandatory financial documents. That's not a clerical error. That's a massive warning sign. Proof that the financial foundation of Dalton is collapsing. No documents means no oversight. No oversight means no money. And without money, Dalton is sinking fast. To make matters worse, the freeze hit at the same time new allegations surfaced about misuse of township resources. One glaring example left residents furious. Non-mayoral staff reportedly attended a mayor's-only conference on the township's dime. That wasn't an accident. That was a deliberate choice. And it speaks to a larger pattern of recklessness, bold move with no accountability, spending without limits, and decisions made as if taxpayer dollars were her personal wallet. And the community has had enough. At town halls, emotions are boiling over. Some of Henyard's closest allies now sit in silence, too afraid or too ashamed to defend her. Others have flipped completely, denouncing her leadership outright. Because when federal agents start knocking on doors, loyalty is no longer a shield. It's a risk. And in Dalton, the fear is spreading just as fast as the anger. The tension came to a head at a recent Thornton Township board meeting. The room was packed, trustees on edge, residents demanding the truth. What they heard was explosive. One trustee called it betrayal, not just negligence. Whistleblowers revealed that employees were silenced or fired for asking basic questions. Speaking up wasn't allowed. Transparency wasn't tolerated. This wasn't leadership. It was intimidation. A system built on control, not service. Then came the jaw-dropping revelation. Over $33,000 spent on Amazon in one day using township accounts. Let that sink in. That's not a mistake. That's a spending spree. And it wasn't for the people. It was indulgence, plain and simple. When leaders treat tax dollars like play money, the damage isn't just financial. It's moral. It tells the community the rules don't matter, that public trust is expendable, that leadership has been replaced with greed. But the money isn't even the deepest wound. It's the broken trust. Dalton residents believed in Tiffany Henyard. They gave her their votes, their support, their hope. Now they feel deceived, betrayed. And that betrayal cuts deeper than any financial scandal ever could. It's the kind of wound that doesn't just shake politics. It shatters faith in the very system meant to protect the people. That's where Carmen Carroll comes in. A whistleblower brave enough to tell the truth about what was happening behind closed doors. According to her, working under Henyard was nothing short of dangerous. Retaliation came quick and ruthless. Employees lived in constant fear. Loyalty wasn't earned, it was demanded. Those who dared to resist were punished. Carmen's story isn't just about politics. It's about surviving inside a toxic workplace fueled by power and control. What was supposed to be a movement has spiraled into a scandal. Public records requests are stalled. Meetings have turned into shouting matches. Information is being hidden. And every week, another revelation adds fuel to the fire. The media is circling. The FBI is watching. And residents are left asking how much worse this can get. Each new headline paints a clearer picture, and it's not one Dalton ever expected when Henyard first stepped into office. And just when people thought they'd seen it all, a bizarre twist emerged, one that shocked even the most seasoned political watchers, and left the community wondering what could possibly happen next. Believe it or not, Tiffany Henyard once owned a restaurant called Good Burger. But when the business folded, something strange happened. The same Facebook page, same profile, same admin, suddenly rebranded into the Tiffany Henyard Cares Cancer Foundation. At first, it looked like a pivot toward charity. But when questions about the nonprofit's legitimacy started flying, Henyard didn't admit ownership. Instead, she flat out denied any connection, despite public evidence linking her directly. That denial shocked even her harshest critics, because when you're caught red-handed, doubling down only raises the stakes. And when you mix nonprofits into the scandal, the danger becomes even greater. This isn't just about public backlash anymore. It's about potential fraud. It's about legal exposure. And it's about playing with the kind of fire that draws the attention of the FBI. Sure enough, in just the past 2 weeks, federal agents have issued 5 subpoenas targeting Dalton and Thornton Township. The feds aren't circling. They're moving in, and they're looking directly at Tiffany Henyard's operation. One subpoena, in particular, has people buzzing. It digs into Henyard's personal security detail, where one officer allegedly logged more than 300 hours in just 2 weeks. Do the math. That's impossible. No officer can physically work that much, which is why investigators now want answers. Was this fraud, misuse of funds, or something far worse? Whatever the case, the timeline is clear. Dolton officials have been ordered to hand over documents to a federal grand jury by May 20th. No more delays. No more excuses. The government wants receipts, and they want them fast. Meanwhile, Henyard's shield of power has crumbled. She is officially out of office. No title, no protection, no political armor left to hide behind. Now, for the first time, she faces a storm head-on. The walls are closing in, and the climb ahead isn't just steep. It could be criminal. What once looked like a stumble has now turned into a complete collapse. The super mayor brand is imploded, leaving only scandal, subpoenas, and shattered trust in its wake. This isn't just a fall from grace. It's a political implosion. The woman who called herself the people's mayor has left her people paying the price. The trust is gone. The confidence is gone. And in its place, outrage. Deep boiling outrage. A community that once rallied around her now wonders how they could have been so misled. How did the story of hope twist into one of betrayal? How did a leader who promised reform end up drowning in investigations? Now, Dalton is left with a haunting question. How did it come to this? A mayor who entered office with so much promise is now entangled in one of the biggest local scandals in recent memory. What began with optimism has ended with subpoenas. What was branded as reform has transformed into a case study in abuse of power. And what once felt like a political success story now reads like a warning label to every community. And the world is watching. As the FBI digs deeper, the outcome hangs in the balance. Will Tiffany Henyard join the long list of leaders who let ego override ethics? Or will there be one last twist, a redemption arc no one saw coming? At this point, it's impossible to say. But one thing is certain. The people of Dolton deserve better. Much better. And while Tiffany Henyard's chapter may be closing this story is only just beginning.